Hey everyone, you're here sewing with Cody and Pete, and in today's video this is actually a special request from a viewer, and her question was, what are some of the best feet to use for free motion quilting? Well, if you know Bernina, you know there's a foot and accessory for everything and then some. So I've collected all the different feet that I have that I've used for free motion quilting, and we're going to see which ones are some of the best ones for free motion quilting. So before we get started, remember, if you end up liking the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also go into the description below and check out the merchant shop so you can find things like mugs, notebooks, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, all kind of fun things. And some of the proceeds from the sale of some of those items go help us create more videos like this. All right, so let's get started. So here I've got a collection of different free motion style feet. There are a few, surprisingly, that I don't have on hand here, but I'll show you some of those from the big book of feet. But here are a number of different feet. Some of them come with some of the machines, but most of them do not. But we'll start with one of the most common and Bernina's crown jewel, and that is the stitch regulator. So we've got separate videos working with the stitch regulator, but we will work with it again today. So here's our standard stitch regulator that comes with a lot of different machines. So today we're working on the 770 that's been upgraded to a 770 plus. And this machine comes with the stitch regulator, along with 570, 590, 880, 790, 770 plus. So the majority of the machines come with it, and almost all of the machines, all current model machines with the exception of the 3 series, can use it. So this foot is a computerized foot, so you can see it plugs into the machine as we've seen in other videos, and there's a lens, a little camera basically, at the bottom. So when we plug it in and we turn it on, it detects the movement of our fabric. So of all of the feet that we're going to be looking at today, this is the only one that allows the machine to regulate the stitches that you've told it, stitch lengthwise. You can also do a zigzag. But what's really neat about this foot is that there are 3 different interchangeable soles. So here is our closed-toed sole. So here it's basically a closed-toed, just like one of the feet we are going to be looking at, which is number 9. So you can see it has its same basic footprint. So this is our closed-toed sole. We pinch these 2 little pieces here, and this just slides off. And we can change it then to our open-toe sole, which is this one here. And that just slides right on and snaps into place. So this also, there's a foot comparable, a separate foot comparable to this open toe. And this is the one of the feet that I'm surprised I don't have on hand. And that is number 24. So we can see it in our big book of feet. So we can see how it has that open toe. And it's foot number 24. And that can be used on any machine. And it does not come with any of the machines. So the benefit of the open toe is it allows you to easily take off the foot and change threads because you can slide the thread right through that opening, opposed to a closed toe where you actually have to feed it through the hole. So the other sole that comes with the BSR is this Echo Quilting sole. So what's neat about this one is completely clear all the way around, and it has these little rings. So those rings, those circles around there, are designed for you to guide those rings along the edge of previous quilting or like embroidery. So you get kind of like that Echo Quilting look. And again, this one just slides right on. So there is a foot that's comparable to that, that's not the stitch regulator, and that's this one here. This is a 44C. And this machine has come with a few special edition machines over the years. So you may have this even if you didn't buy it. And this one is a 44C, but that is the only way it comes. There's not just a regular, there's just a 44C. So it is 9mm capable, which is really nice. So those are the 3 soles that can attach for the BSR. And so the beauty of the BSR is it does control your stitch length when you are stitching. So the faster you move the fabric, the faster the machine stitches to keep that even stitch length. So let's look at some of the other ones. So we've already looked at 44C. which is very comparable. It's actually the same exact footprint as the sole that goes on your stitch regulator. But here is the full shank version. And so all these machines just all these feet just attach to the machine just like any other foot. But all of the feet that we are looking at here are all spring loaded. So you can see that spring loaded, or it has an adjustable, they're adjustable. So none of these feet are really to be used with feed dogs. And they're all designed to kind of almost hover right above or right on the fabric. They're not actually pushing down on our quilt. But this one does have those rings, which allows us to echo something we've already stitched, or to echo like an embroidered design or a printed design on our fabric. The other one, which we've mentioned already, is the number 9. It does have a sibling, the number 26. If you have an embroidery machine, this foot came with it. This is your embroidery foot. It's referred to as a teardrop. So you can see it kind of has like a little water droplet teardrop. So it's not a complete circle. It really doesn't matter. So many of y'all may have this, and you can definitely use this for free motion quilting. This one doesn't give you a lot of visibility because it has a lot of metal and then a smaller hole in the center. But this one, again, is spring loaded, so you can easily free motion quilt with this foot. Not my favorite to free motion quilt with, but a lot of machines came with it. So if you don't have one, especially when you're just practicing or learning, this is a good alternative. I do like the number 9, and I do like this one for embroidery more so than the number 26. It's because it does have a bigger hole. And I've talked about the number 26 in previous videos, that the needle has a tendency to strike the inside of that opening, especially even when you're free motion quilting, because you're just forcing that fabric underneath the foot and everything. So sometimes that needle can deflect a little bit and move, and it has the potential to hit the inside of that foot. So the next foot, which isn't the best for free motion quilting, be perfectly honest with you, and that's because it's designed for ruler work quilting. That is the number 72 or 72S. This is the 72S. This is the new 72. This is the one that has the slit, which is awesome. So it's almost 100% identical to the regular 72, except this one has a little slit. So you can easily change from this foot to this foot, because they're both open. This one's open toe and this one has a slit. So if you're doing some ruler work with this one, you don't have to cut your thread to be able to change to a different foot to do some free motion quilting. You usually pop on this foot. Or you can switch to the BSR and use this foot. So that's the beauty of having that slit. So this one, yes, I have done a lot of free motion quilting with this ruler foot for the simple fact that I'm doing ruler work quilting and I don't want to have to change my foot, or I don't have one on hand and I don't want to have to go and get it. Or especially before the 72S with the slit came out, I would just keep on quilting with this and I would switch back and forth from ruler work. But because this one is 1/4 of an inch tall on the side, as you can see here, it's hard to see everything that we're quilting. So that's why this one isn't the best for free motion quilting, but you can definitely still use it. I've used it many, many times. Here is another one. This is the number 29. This one also comes with 29C, I do believe. But this one came with a number of different special edition machines as well. So you may have it. This one is a great foot. It really is. If there was a downside, the only downside is that it's too big, because it's designed for 9mm. And with this foot, since it is free motion, the only 9mm you're going to be using is a zigzag, and that's on a very rare. So that's where its downside is. It does have this big opening, so it could be a little bit small. It could have a little smaller of a footprint. But it is clear, which is nice. You know, bernina doesn't have many clear feet because they don't really like plastic. They prefer something that's more robust, it's going to last, like metal. But this one's nice for free motion quilting because you can see everything. It holds down your fabric nicely, but you can see everything as you're quilting. So this is a good option for free motion quilting. And it does give you more options because it does allow you to use up to a 9mm zigzag when free motion quilting. Then there's this guy. Only reason I'm showing this guy is because I do have it on hand and I have used it for free motion quilting, but this is a free motion couching foot. Excellent for free motion couching. And I have a video on this foot specifically, which I'll try and link it somewhere if I can remember. But this is designed to feed yarn or cording through the side, and it'll go in that little hole, and you'll see it in the video. And so you can do free motion quilting, but have it stitched down cording at the same time. Super, super cool foot. And it's nice and clear except for the middle, which is a little metal piece so it doesn't crack. So this is a good little foot. Again, not recommended for free motion quilting, but if you're doing free motion couching, this is the foot to go with. Now, probably one of my absolute favorite feet. It's actually one of a fairly new foot. It's number 74. So this one's adjustable, which the ruler foot is also adjustable. And so reason it's adjustable is so when you're quilting, if you're working with thicker fabric or especially loftier batting, this foot allows you to adjust it so it can come up higher, so it's not pushing down on your fabric as much, so it reduces drag when you're working with a thicker fabric. Otherwise, typically, like if you're just using a thinner, warmer, natural style batting, or we use a lot of Quilter's Dream batting, which we absolutely love, we're typically going to bring this all the way down to the bottom. So it's the lowest setting, essentially the closest setting to your fabric, pushing on your fabric, is typically going to be all the way to the bottom. When you're working with thicker fabric, we'll then dial it up some. But that's what's nice about these adjustable feet, is that they are adjustable to accommodate your fabric. But this foot, why I like this foot so much, I don't know if you should be able to really tell, is it's like a little bowl. So whenever we're quilting, especially if we're doing, I use this foot a lot for when we're working on the Q16 or the Q20, Q24. So if we're stitching over anything that's got some cording, if we're stitching along the edge of the fabric, so typically we're going to have, as you know, when you're quilting, you're going to have something that looks more or less like this. We've got our backing, our batting, and then our top. We always want that extra if we're doing ruler work quilting or anything, so we can have something to hold on to. So when we are quilting, so we're stitching and we stitch off the edge of our fabric. When we come back, this bowl is nice and smooth and has that beveled edge. So it just slides right over the edge of our fabrics. Or if we have like a little flange or piping or all kinds of different stuff, especially if we work with like a crazy quilt where we've got stuff stitched or glued down to our fabric, this will glide right over that and not get caught. Every single foot up here just about will get caught, especially those with the little open toe like this, the number 24, even these guys, this one not so much. It's got a slight bevel, but not very much. So a lot of those feet can get caught on the edge of fabric, cording, you name it. This one will not. This is why I really like this foot. And it's just nice and smooth, and you can clearly see everything in this little crosshairs and everything to help you line up things. Really, really, really nice foot. This is probably one of my most favorite feet to use for sure. That, and again, this one, because it is an open toe. But so these are a number of different feet that I use for free motion quilting. Some not as much as others, some more for convenience, or like with the number 43, it's designed for free motion couching. So we can take a closer look and actually stitch with some of these feet and see. So when we are working with, say, the number 74, which, like, again, is a fairly new foot, so you probably don't have it, we always want to make sure that we drop our feed dogs, which I already did. I dropped the feed dogs, and it's advisable to use your straight stitch plate if you have it. It just gives you a nice, prettier stitch. But make sure when you change that straight stitch plate that you tell your machine. And we've got that in other videos, that you go to your security settings and tell the machine that you are working with a 0mm stitch plate. So if we're working, say, with the number 72, so there's a trick. So like I've already got my machine threaded, and I'm working with a 9014 top stitch needle, like I've mentioned in many other videos. So since this foot doesn't have a cutout, so what I like to do is have my needle threaded, and I will take it before I put the foot on and feed that threaded needle through the hole, and then I can pull that tail. So now my thread is underneath my foot. So now I've got that foot on. So again, we always want to bring up our bobbin thread. So we are quilting. So one thing you can test is you can have it with her needle down, so our foot's down, and kind of see where the foot and how much pressure the foot's applying to your fabric. So if your foot is really above your fabric at this stage, you may want to dial that foot down some. But if it's pressing up against the fabric, you may want to actually bring it up a little bit. And a lot of that's going to depend on your batting. But when you're stitching, so when I'm looking at this foot, I can see everything. And that's what's so nice about this one. Because again, we do have this one, which we had for a while, the 44C, but you do have some obstruction because you've got those rings. Because it's really designed for echo quilting. This one's not designed for echo quilting because you don't have a guide. You don't have anything to help you echo your previous quilting or embroidery. But here you can see everything. So when you are stitching, you can see exactly where you're going, where you come from, and everything that you've stitched. So you can even see right after you've stitched how that stitch is being created. So if it's showing bobbin, if it's too long, too short, if it's just not looking right, it's a very clear, beautiful plastic. They've definitely used a different plastic here than some of the other ones. You can just tell by looking at how shiny it is. And it's thicker too, so it's not going to break as easy. But really allows you to see what you're quilting. But with this foot, again, you have to control the speed of the machine to ensure decent stitch length. And of course, I do always recommend quilting gloves or some type of quilting aid. I personally like the gloves because it allows me to do and move things without having to take anything off or readjust something. The gloves are my preferred method. And I use the Machinger brands, the white ones. But again, this is my favorite free motion quilting foot. Unless I'm, again, doing some other type of technique. But again, I can't forget about the BSR. That bernina stitch regulator really helps keep that even stitch length. But there you have it. So the question was, what are some of my favorite free motion quilting feet? This one and this guy. And of course, you've always got your number 24. It really depends on what machine you're on, because you may be working with a machine that can't use the BSR or doesn't come with the BSR. And the BSR is not a cheap foot. You can get all of these feet. You can get all of these feet for the price of this one if you don't already have this one. A lot of machines come with it, which is a great way to purchase the machine, or purchase the foot is to get a machine that comes with it. But otherwise, you could have all of these feet for the price of the BSR. But the BSR does, again, come with 3 different soles. So it's kind of like getting 3 different stitch regulated feet. All right, I think that pretty much answers the question that I got in the comment section from a few videos ago. Thank you for asking that question. And if anybody has any questions that you want me to answer, want me to create a video for, just leave it in the comment section below, and hopefully I will find it. I get quite a bit of comments, and I don't always have the kind of time that I would like to be able to read all the comments and answer everybody's comments and questions. But I do try when I do have time. But I do appreciate the question, and hopefully we'll see some future questions. And as always, remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, and also check out that merchant shop and see if there's anything on there that you think you can use. And remember, some of the proceeds go towards the production of all these videos, because it takes a lot of time. All right, well, as always, happy sewing.